evening. Welcome to Face Show Mujit. Every Wednesday at 7 p.m. we are with a changemaker. Today's changemaker, Pandit Debashish Bhattacharya, is with us. Pandit Debashish Bhattacharya, whose music reflects Patiala, Mahim, and Gwalior Karana, whose first classical guitar syllabus was published in 1981, who is performing professionally since 1981, whose creation, Hindustan classical guitar, Chaturangi, Gandharvi, Anandi, and Debangui. Without further delay, let us start conversation with Pandit Debashish Bhattacharya. Welcome once again to our show, Festival Show with Pandit Debashish Bhattacharya.
Nice to meet you, Soumyajit, and thank you for inviting me here today.
Really, it's a great pleasure of having you in this show. So, let's start the conversation. We will go in different parts of our conversation. Somewhere will be with your family, somewhere will be with your music, somewhere will be with your gurus, and sometime will be with your awards and accolades. So let's start how you started your journey. As far as I went through I was Googling, and just after doing that search, I found that at 4 years of age, you started your journey at All India Radio. Can you please tell what was the occasion? How memorable was the occasion, Pandit?
1967, 2nd October, Gandhi birthday. At that time, there was a live samprachar, live transmission. There was a children's program. I went to play my six-string Hawaiian guitar, but in Rag Bhairavi. And it was amazing to see all the children with different instruments, poetry, reciting and singing. First time it is such a big rooms, It's such a big house. All India Radio, Calcutta, Akashvani, Kolkata. And it was amazing, big studio, big glass, somebody is working other side of the glass. First time I was still in a kind of a shock and surprise. And then an elderly man came to perform with me, accompanying me on tabla. I later found that was no other than Ustad Karamatullah Khan Sahab. He was working in All India Radio, but he liked the way I picked up the style of playing. And at that time in 1967, who was playing classical music on guitar? Nobody else. I mean, my guru, Pandit Bhushan Kabra, was already there for sure, but we didn't have internet, television, or newspaper even to get the news from Ahmedabad or whatever he was doing, unknown. Anyway, that was a golden memory to ever cherish.
It is something extraordinary. At the age of 4 years, you started your innings, and that too with such a stature who played tabla with you. And I think I should not do any injustice if I ask you the question who were the most influencer in your early career at the age of 4 years? Your parents or somebody else?
Parents, and my parents were just, there are people who never, apart from a very simple livelihood, their main focus was to practice music, listen music, and let the children breathe, let the children learn how to breathe in music. So, therefore, my father was working for WBSCB in Alipur office, where we were living in Bida, which is like a few stations before Bonga, in a village house. So, but he never missed to sit with me at 6 o'clock for the practice with my mom. And later also with me. That kind of a religiousness of music as art of living. It is very hard to describe it today. The way they have inspired us, bhajan, kirtan, Drupad, khayal, ragdari, all those things I have born with their practice. And then they have opened gradually with All India Radio, TV, programs, national music, radio broadcasting of great ustads, Ustad Dabir Khan Sahab, Ustad Ali Akbar Khan Sahab, Ustad Bade Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab, Ustad Amir Khan Sahab. A lot. Pandit Bhimchen Joshi is at that time was rising star, young maestro. Ustad Bilal Khan Sahab and Pandit Ravi Shankar ji was rising star, So there was a lot of audio, not much visual though. But this audio only you can find by All India Radio transmissions. That was the only thing. But you know, that kind of a audio and listening, quality of listening is very hard these days because there was no other sound in the nature. House in the nature, the rice field, orchards, vegetable gardens, ponds, and then probably one or two trains in the day or one or two trains in the night from Bonga line from Shialda. There is no other distorting sound. So it is a kind of a time we cannot describe at this moment. We can describe, but it's hard to imagine. It's like a something. So yeah, that was my biggest, always biggest influence till we came to Kolkata. Then we heard we met many different teachers. Haru Kaku, Haradan Rai Chaudhary, a dedicated teacher, used to travel from door to door by cycle, teaching students tabla, harmonium, sitar, surbahar, singing lessons. And then I met late Rajat Nandi, the great Hawaiian guitarist, whom I have learned the ABCD of guitar and Western music in my very early age. I used to walk from Ultradanga to Shambajar Banu Chakro every Monday evening and come back for 2, 3 years. So that was another influence. By that time, I already heard enough Indian classical music and learning songs from my parents, vocal. And then I started imbibing with the fantasy and the technical knowledge I have gathered to how to play Hawaiian guitar. And that was the inspiration. Then Ali Akbar Khan Saab's first concert in my life changed the entire way of thinking about the instrument. That was by age of 7 or 8. So those are the influences, that very organic, very natural.
Yes, it was initial influence, and after that, so many influences came into your life. Today's show we have found is
Yes.
Hawaiian musical journey. So you referred about Hawaiian guitar. So I'm just requesting you if you kindly bring us along with the history because all the listeners here, audience here will not be from musical fraternity. That is why I'm requesting.
Hawaiian guitar, I mean, guitar is the only instrument which has been changed in many different forms because everybody have taken guitar into their culture and for the purpose. And they changed and made many different ways of playing and cultural integration of the guitar has been over centuries in different parts of the world. If you say piano or violin, piano, grand piano, smaller piano. But piano is a piano. The tonality piano is only one tonality. If somebody play piano grand or smaller, you can recognize immediately what it is. But in the case of guitar, it has so many different tonality because it has been freed from the chord. So guitar was only Western classical guitar, which is nylon string guitar. Except nylon string guitar, all the other guitar and guitar music was dominantly being used in the culture beyond the wall of the dynasty, wall of the court. So that is how people has made many changes in different guitars. Hawaiian guitar is also part of the Spanish guitar, which Joseph Kekeku has created. There are many different stories. Long story short, Hawaiian guitar came to India during British Raj under American influence. During Calcutta as a capital, Hawaiian guitar came to India, and Hawaiian musicians traveled from Europe via all the continents. They came to Oriental states, Hong Kong, Calcutta, Japan, Thailand, Philippines, all these places they have traveled, but they felt more politically and environmentally secured, so they lived in Kolkata, in Park Street. So they lived there before World War II and after World War II as well. So that made the link between Hawaiian guitar and Kolkata's music. And the man who actually performed in Kolkata and all over India, he is widely known as the most uh, traveling Hawaiian musicians ever in the world. Tao Moy and his wife Rose Moy, they have recorded in Dum Dum HMV their Hawaiian falsetto singing. So under EMI and HMV. Uh, because of them in Kolkata, in Mumbai, in Delhi, in other places, people picked up Hawaiian guitar and started playing Tagore song or Bollywood song. But there are many 40s and 50s movie where you can find in the interlude a Hawaiian lick da 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 has been played in between. So those are all influences of these Hawaiian legends stayed in Kolkata and they performed in Grand Hotel and dream cars regularly for British and American Army and the first and second generation educated European educated Bengalis, upper class Bengalis. They also used to go there in the club or listen to the music. So his follower and his friend, his student, Ganesh, who is actually uncle of Derek and Brian O'Brien. Garninis was 5 times Olympic hockey gold medalist, and he was also an amazing photographer. Have received many international award in photography. He was the first, and then Sujit Nath and Rajat Nandi. They started playing Hawaiian Western songs as well as they have also started playing song of Tagore, Nazrul, and West Bollywood songs. And any other song was coming from Czechoslovakia or some European countries, they used to pick up in the Western notation and orchestrate and play for the new European generation of Bengalis. That is how one Hawaiian guitar has been has flown into my household. My father's office colleague gave a guitar to my father to just keep it because he was living in Calcutta. A guitar was not. He didn't want to take that instrument, but he didn't know. My father didn't know that I will be picking up that guitar. But at the age of 3, my both the parents remembered that guitar and gave it on my lap, and then it started.
Do you still possess that guitar? Just for
Huh?
curiosity. That old guitar at the age of 3 years, you got that guitar. Do you still possess?
I have kept it in my father's house as an
Okay.
archival instrument. So yeah, it is playable now. It is still playable.
Oh, fantastic. Uh, uh, for any education, you need gurus. And you refer that from your family, from your parents, you started everything. Your parents just, it's a sad case. On 12th January, you lost your father, late Sunil Kumar Bhattacharya, Srimati Manjusri Bhattacharya, late Acharya Gokul Nath, late Acharya Maharaj Bandhavadhyay, Pandit Ajay Chakraborty, late Pandit B. Bhushan Kabra, late Sarvasanghat Ustad Ali Akbar Khan. I might have missed other gurus who influenced you in your initial journeys. So let us
My
know.
pranam to all the gurus.
Yes. I also give my heartiest pronouns to all your gurus who influenced your musical journey and which is converting towards a divine musical journey now. So, we would like to know about your gurus.
I just give you the timeline of those gurus you have named. So when I was like young boy, I was playing like a playful Debashish playing Malcolms or Bhageshi or Yaman or playing Bollywood songs or Western numbers. I met late Acharya Gokul Chandra Nag, the father of Pandit Manigal Nag. He came to one music school to uh, award the students at the what is called yearly function, and where out of love, my sitar teacher Haruka Haradra Chaudhary asked me to play 30 minutes of Malcolms. So I was like a guest appearance there, and Pandit Gokul Nag have been in the front and sat and saw me playing, heard me playing. And few years later, my teacher Harukaku, we were already in Ultadanga, living in one room. Our three siblings and mom and dad in one 10 by 10 foot LIG quarter room. Because to tell this background, I must tell you one thing that my father was a very adventurous man who always ran after his passion. So when they came from Bangladesh in the riot in 1939, my father was only 10 years old. Then his elder brothers, and then they lived in under shelter with some jamindars in Kolkata, probably stubbornness for his uh, shelter. But then they played football and they won the heart of the jamindar and got the job. My father went to do the job after 4 5 years later. He got a job in railway, NF Railway, was posted in Bongaigaon, Guwahati, and uh, what is called Arunachal Pradesh. But Badagulam Ali Khan Sahib used to come in Katihar, Rajbari, for 15, 20 days every year. So he was very happy. So he could learn, he could listen. But Badagulam Ali Khan Sahib stopped coming to Katihar, but he was still coming to Kolkata for the whole winter and performing. So my father left that job and took a very small paying job in WBSC, State Electricity Board, in like supervisor post, because of he wanted to be with Bhargavani Khan's concerts in Kolkata. So look at his uh, level of passion where he doesn't mind putting the secure zone, comfort zone he never bothered about. So that actually gave me a lot of courage probably from his life. But I never also bothered by my career or comfort zone. So I went to learn Haru from Harukaku to Gokul Chandra Nag with a Hawaiian guitar when he was playing Survahar or Sitar. So, and from there, when he passed away in 1982, I was only 19 years old boy. So I was roaming around to find somebody else. So Maharaj Kaku, I had a relative who was a friend of Maharaj Kaku. Maharaj Kaku's late Maharaj Bandhavadhay's son of legendary harmonium player Muntu Bandhavadhay. So I was doing some sessions with him, coming to from their school, from Ashutosh College, going to his Bhavanipur house, then coming back from there to Ultodanga in the last tram, last bus. That was my kind of adventurous life. Then I had a concert in Srirampur where Pandit Ajay Chakravarti performed after me, and he has fallen in love of my guitar playing, and my entire musical ideology have been shaken into a very divine, powerful existence of someone. And by that time, my father got a heart attack. So I found the same voice quality in Ajay Guruji as my father had. It was a kind of a transit from one to other through the voice, and both of them were from Patiala. So it was a very comfort zone. But then Ajay Guruji was so liberal that he said you must learn from the legend of father of side guitar, Pandit Brijbhushan Kabra.
And you
So
went.
he liberated me from him, and then I left everything, my career, my all the income, pocket money, family money. I was playing for 50 rupees in Minerva Theatre for theatre to give what is called background music on side guitar. From the horse beat to the what is called to the army sound of the boots. They're marching, army marching into the village, or somebody is crying, some pathos melody, some happy melody, some intro, some after the concert, uh, what is called when they end the theater at the very end. So all these things I was doing as a child artist for 50 rupees an evening. All things, all the concerts, all India Radio, Mega Sammelan, I was playing as young talent. I left that chapter and took a train to 47 hours and started living with the legend at his foot. I can call it unconditional enslavement with a guru.
I think it was 14
And that
years.
actually finally changed my 1983 to 1993. I stayed 7 years continuously, but then last 3 years I was going back and forth, and but also my Guruji has started coming to live with me after that sometimes. Or he used to live here with his sister in Ironside Road, and I used to go there as well. And then my career started a little wild, and I started traveling in all over India in Indians music samman, and then also started then he wrote to my grand guru Usad Ali Akbar Khan, and one day I came back from a concert in Nagpur, and my father said, I have got a letter from Usad Ali Akbar Khan. That was a invitation from Baba to learn, and if I come to California to learn at the college. And since so this is my basic uh, route with all the gurus during the time.
Right.
I was almost every year I have visited to some Amir Khan, and I'm still learning. I'm still learning with Ajayji. I'm still learning with all those things I could not digest during my past 30 years. Now I have time more to learn in the second round and find what is the best to give.
Right. So now we will come to one interesting question. That is, you have two patented features. Am I right, Panditji?
Yes, yes,
So that is very interesting story of your
yes.
divine physical journey. You could be a person who could only think of earning money. You could be a musician who could only think of training few students. But you thought something else. Your dream was guitar. You only told at the age of 3 years, you got a gift, slide guitar. But tell us about these patented guitars, how you got these guitar patented, and how you manufacture it, who buys it. Very interesting story for all the audience.
Okay, so in usual incidents, when we call patents, it's a Western concept. The protection of your intelligence property. I actually patented my first guitar not to make a big business out of it in my mind. I protected my child. I call it my child because at that time in 1978, I'm sure if you can go through, there was not enough instrument called classical Hindustani guitar. I'm coming stage after stage. First of all, if you have a very interesting, very talented child, you may get scared to give this child to a general school or a school where 30, 40 students are being taught by one teacher. If you have a if you have a authority and stamina, or you have all these things in your hand, you can give a home school and you bring pandits and scholars and scientists to groom your child at home. You will not never send that child to a school. So basically, I didn't want to get this idea of my all these ongoing thoughts and imaginations and research in a wrong hand, so that people can just put two more strings and say this is all that Veena my father has created. All these things it's happening professionally, that. It is in one way it is such a divine and such a lovely journey. But when it comes to the business side, there had been many such history in centuries that somebody has taken somebody's name or something, or somebody's music translated in other language, or this and that. So that's why I thought, why should not I do the copyright? So that I went to a very famous copyright and patent lawyer, S. Majumdar, internationally famous, worked for Neem, worked for Basmati to keep for India, fought with Americans and other people, and he was also a side guitarist. He was a student of Sunil Ganguly. But I knew it later, not I. I didn't know that before. So anyway, so that was why I tried to patent the front chickadee, which is my idea, and the side back torrob was also my idea, and so the arrangement of that string on a big guitar with the two extended piece of wood. That was my idea of making Indian classical guitar. And then when my first video came out, internationally released first guitar video, the name of that video I gave Hindustani slide guitar. That is how the Hindustani slide guitar genre today has started. I'm very proud, also very humble because something was happening because my father's courageous life, something was happening in me, and it's still happening. And then I made a couple of more guitars, but I didn't patent because I didn't think it needs any such a patent because let people play and see how they like it. And then next one is Pushpavina, the last one I have created. It is completely a different thing because a slide guitar never had a skin or hide on top. So this is the first slide guitar with a skin on top. So that was the idea to protect the sound. Even I have copyrighted, I have made research and studio records have been provided. The audio of that instrument is not heard in any other instrument in the world. So that audio also, the soundscape, the timbre, everything has been associated with the design and the shape and the instrument in the filing of patents.
Right. So it's
So
really exciting.
most important part is this patent helps me to keep growing in the same box a longer period and make more research in one tube so that at the end product can come out without any byproduct before the main product come out with a solid ideas. Now after 78, so it is almost 20, 43 years. Now everybody is playing Chaturangi and the sound of Chaturangi has changed from the 78 to 1998, from 1998 to 2009, from 2009 to 2018. But now we are making the Chaturangi with the additional research work is just an amazing instrument. So patent actually helped me to do this.
Right. We came to know so many interesting facts. And see, you are a musician, and we hope, we wish that you live more than century. But as a musician, you always think and you thought that your students should learn from you, and you have set up a universal school of music, and you have more than 2,000 or 3,000 students across the globe. And uh, what was the basic philosophy of creating this school of music?
So basically, it is a open school with open ideas of music training. In universities or in any institution, they have a fixed syllabus. So
Oh,
when there is a
that's
fixed syllabus, you know certain style under certain teacher and certain ragas or music or subjects history, acoustic or other subjects you learn in a stipulated period of 3 years or 4 years, and then you get a master degree and then you do some research work and you become a professor or something. But our music is a lifelong, ongoing process of modification. Our music modifies inside us, and we modify inside the music as a human being. So that teaching is not available in any university or any other institution. That is my family's teaching. Our ancestors were all teachers, pandits and singers, Bhattacharyas. They were gurus. My grandfather's grandfather, which is like five generations before, he in one life wrote seven epics in Bengali in one lifetime. Just think of Kalidas or Krittivas Oja, Ramayana and Mahabharata. They wrote only one, but he wrote seven. So these are the people who have given birth of the first generation of European educated Bengalis who went to London, who went to Europe to study. So these are our gurus, and the open education give you a idea like the open religion like Sanatan. Sanatan is not a religion who says do this, don't do that. So that is a open teaching of religion is Sanatan. So open teaching of music is also Sanatan. That is why I call it universal music, school of universal music. So that
Absolutely.
way I have taught them how to refine their lifestyle, how to refine the art of living through the practice and thought of music. That is so good that many of my students in India and abroad, their students and their their students, now probably I have 4 or 5 generations of students I've already taught. So they are all are doing musically in a very good way. They are powerful. They are having very happy life. Their focus and their study, their performance has been affected by this kind of open teaching of music.
Right. Exactly. Uh, every hard work needs recognition, and there was no exception. Pandit Debashish Bhattacharya was awarded with several awards, and he was also a Grammy nominated musician in 2009. He was BBC Planet Award winner 2007, and he won the award of Songlines Music Award winner was 2016. There are other several awards were bestowed on Pandit Debashish Bhattacharya. And when you win an award, does it inspire to have more research? Does it give you enough strength to go ahead with more music in your life? Pandit.
Awards and accolades are time to time give you some uh, alertness that you are doing the right thing, and it keeps on patting you on your back that keep on doing whatever you are doing, and it also inspired the fans and followers that if their mentor or their ideology gets supported. But I think for people like us who don't really work for anything else than self-teaching, self-growing, self-evolution, self-development, like every day dying and every next morning living again, that kind of a life. The music itself and the teaching of music itself is the biggest inspiration always.
Right. So I remember one incident and how it came into music. You went to Puri and you were in the Puri sea beach, and there was a special story. I don't want to reveal that thing. We will come out with that special story, how that came in your music.
Well, I have traveled India before I traveled world extensively. I have traveled with the culture before I have even traveled India through the transistor radio broadcasting of Calcutta A, Calcutta B, and Vivida Bharati. Because in our radio program, there has been also in the middle of the night when all the local stations are stopped. My father and me used to tune in BBC service and Voice of America through the radio, like fine tuned, what is it called, shortwave.
Short.
So I have heard 12 string or flamenco guitar without knowing it is flamenco guitar. That soundscape remembered in me. I have heard B.B. King. I have heard Ray Charles' voice. The cry of his voice is so all these nuances, including Rudravina, Sitar, Sarod, the Gunj of Shehnai, and Sarangi, Rabab. I have heard all of them before I have traveled world, but I didn't heard banjo. Like Pushpavina is a combination of many different instruments, including banjo, rabab, oud, sarod, samisen, Japanese, koto, then Korean gaigam. All these soundscapes are mixed in this small little Indian-looking slide guitar. Those instruments I have worked later with, but these international sounds I have always heard and always felt very passionate. If I can find a 75 inches Sony Bravia in my living room, I'll feel rich and happy and feel kingly. I have a nice sofa set and I have 75 inch Sony Bravia digital, the kingdom. For me, it was opposite. For me, it was if I can put another string on my guitar and if I glide a couple of strings on top, what will happen? And when I thought kind of thing, I was always in the nature. So in the Puri, I found that, you know, the the sky is coming down on one line where the ocean is meeting, and one is the bass and one is the high. So bass and high, the octave strings gave me an idea. I came back Kolkata. I went to the Luthai and I said, make this, just put this bass, make slots, this on the bridge, and make the slots, and let me tune and play. And I played mind-boggling sound. That is never heard in the world. That kind of a sound. If you go to beyond the raga sphere or other award-winning albums, you will hear them. It's just pure and clean. Most spiritual sound I have ever could hear in any sliding form. The science behind it, I have done further research after the instrument was made. Why it sounds like that, and I got everything written. So it is basically a scientific observation.
You are a student of geography. You experiment with sound. You experiment with music. And the incident, what I was referring and you narrated, was it Gandharvi?
Gandharvi, yeah.
Yeah. So now our audience, our people who are watching this show, they will love to see Panditji. I do not know whether I should request Panditji to have his guitar from the rack and to play a few strings. Would you mind, Panditji, to bring any of your favorite
Okay.
guitars?
Just give
Sure,
give me a couple of minutes.
sure. Panditji has taken a short leave and he's coming back with his favorite guitar, and our audience will be listening to the tunes of Pandit Debashish Bhattacharya. Pandit Debashish Bhattacharya is back with his passion. The passion is guitar. And I will request Panditji to show the guitar and to, yes, that is the thing. So I will request Panditji to kindly tune so that our audience gets a feel about this guitar. Yes. Will it be possible, Panditji, to give touches in the string so that some sound comes?
Yes, sure.
Please.
That's Chaturangi.
Chaturanga. Yes. You have another one, Pushpo Vina.
Yeah, that's Chaturangi.
Yeah. So,
Now
would you like
I will show you the Chaturangi Gandharvi. Now I will show you Gandharvi.
down there? Okay. So lovely. And that is why you are
So Gandharvi
decorating
is
that. Fantastic, fantastic. Kindly give touches to your divine strings.
Gandharvi. Gandharvi is the name.
Thank you very much, Pandit. Thank you very much. Also, yes, it's just like a ornament. Not doesn't look like a simple guitar. It's look like ornament. Yes.
This is
Panditji,
the four strings side ukulele.
oh, watch, lovely, very keen. Kindly give touches to your string.
Only four string.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Made of Hawaiian koa wood.
Exactly. Why or trinity of guitars, Panditji?
And then
Trinity of guitars. You are telling
that's a
something.
trinity. Chaturangi, Gandharvi, and Anandi.
Okay.
Chaturangi, Gandharvi, and Anandi. Three is called Trinity. Now I have the fourth one, Pushpavina.
Pushpavina. That's the latest one. It got launched in GD Birla Samagar, Kolkata.
Yes.
One cannot look back after seeing the instrument. So appealing, so gorgeous.
So that's Pushpa Veena.
Yeah, definitely. Panditji started Guitar Festival in Kolkata a few years back, and we saw lot many
Yes,
international personalities came in Kolkata, and we have been discussing about the Indian scenario, but we will do
yes.
injustice if we do not cover your journey internationally, because many concerts, thousands of concerts are being held across the globe. So what about those international scenario, your connection, your playing, and let alone those people came to Kolkata after they showed lot of affection and participated in the Guitar Festival in Kolkata. So please enlighten us on the whole scenario.
Well, we have now a, a full generation of so many slide guitar students, young players, and there were many slide guitarists in India, but they used to play at home to have a time pass. But the guitar now, after the what is called millennium, India has more guitarists than ever.
That's it.
Young children are playing rock, reggae, all jazz, and all sorts of genres in different clubs, universities, in different small pubs, everywhere. And also in Indian classical music, there are a lot of students who are studying from many different teachers. So I thought that I play in so many different guitar festivals around the world, and many big guitar festivals. But why should not I try to bring such a thing to India? I actually had a blueprint I gave to somebody in Delhi many years ago, but they could not do more than only rock genre. And that was not my blueprint. I thought genre from all the genres, musicians should come on stage for 3, 4, 5 days and play different genre from the same stage. And that is how I could get the taste of the audience here in India. Because after the what is called colonialism has been stopped in practice, we are still like colonies because we only get to hear and we have a taste of whatever has been fed to us by the big corporate big houses or billions of dollars. But in general, we don't have any such a taste or option to go out and play or listen at the same festival. So that was a trial. I continued from 2014. I had to break some point because I don't have uh, uh, facilities all the time. But we did last year also the guitar festival where I launched Pushpa Veena. And main usefulness of these festivals is we bring young children, young guitarists from all over the world, and we bring them to one place where they can perform, they can do workshop, they can collaborate, they can ask their $1 million questions to the star guitarists, and they can meet, they can take selfie, they can get appreciation from the performers and the audience. Everything is possible from one festival. It is a very niche, very small though, but I do it every year in the name of my Guru, Pandit in my Guru's memory. And hopeful that after the pandemic is over, I'll be able to star over the IIG, India International Guitar Festival.
Thank you, thank you. Panditji, we came to know that your family, your parents were musicians, even your siblings, your sister, your brother, and then if you come to next generation, your son, your daughter, all musicians. It's very unique thing. Only the exception is your wife, who I think that she's a good writer also. So, how do you find this musical journey, not only family, the entire team, music everywhere?
Well, Soumyajit, what to say? Uh, I have been very lucky to perform with Ustad Zakir Hussain and also from with my brother Debashish Bhattacharya. That's a huge line, huge graph. And when with family, it is a different equation where is other professional siblings or professional performer brotherhood. That's another equation. But I enjoyed everything, and when I grown up with my sibling as in the music, I have been elder brother to support them, to feed them with informations, knowledge, or uh, share the knowledge of how to practice, what to practice. And then some points we have shared stages as well together. That has been a very, very, very blissful moment. But now I have my children. My daughter is a singer. She can sing all the genres almost, from Indian classical to Western classical and jazz. All things she studying, and she's studying and she's performing as well. I think they will be able to carry my torch and our family's legacy of musicianship, where music was the only epicenter of life. If that can be carried forward, I'll be immensely happy and extremely thankful to God and to my mentors who have given me the power to survive.
Yeah, I'm just asking you your school of music and the human face too. During my private chat with you, I came to know about that. From economically weaker section of people, if they are students in your institute, you support them either by giving instrument or by waiving fees.
Yes, I have supported. I have I have supported from very early time, giving free lessons or even allowing them to live with me in my humble home, eating same food as cooked by my family, shared knowledge, shared instrument, even idea of how to become professional and all other stuff from very early days. Now we are working to finding a fund so that we can still continue, because after the pandemic things are pretty different now. For the survival for music and musicians is really a big challenge. And as a senior musician, and so far I'm living a healthy life, I need to find support and find a way so that I can still support the real talent and deserving candidates, to keep them busy in music and thought and everything in music, so that they don't need to go to a rubber factory or they don't need to buy a tuk-tuk or auto rickshaw to survive their livelihood. So it is a very, very challenging situation, because governmental and institutional work they are doing pretty much, but it is not enough. From the fraternity head of all our music circles, the Next, who are not such a well-to-do musicians by career or profession. They are highly dignified people. They cannot go door to door or do ask for money or beg. For them, surviving being a musician is a very difficult problem now. Because even government will open the auditorium, government will give you vaccination, but people are still insecure about the economy. As you know, the world economy is dropping every day. The economic growth is dropping by percentage, which is havoc. And there is some forecast that by 21, middle of the 21, the economy can drop till 30%, even 50%. So from there it will grow, it will start growing again. But at that point, everybody is scared about spending money in buying concert tickets or going to a concert hall. Even we are musicians are trying. I'm doing a lot of digital concert called Call of the Soul from my website. Uh, we have done one. The second one is under making, will be telecasted on 31st of January. So to support musicians, young musicians, accompanying artists, give them some money from these collections so that they can still survive. But I know whatever one, two, or three, or 10 musicians does for the fraternity is not even a drop of water. We need to do in a regular basis. We need to raise fund. We need to get a proper sponsorship. Like in many countries, my disciples or disabled students have received a is still receiving a weekly stipend, and first time they have received a chunk of money without filing a petition or getting an email because they are registered musician in that country. The government has given them in the very beginning of the closing pandemic day. They have given some like 5,000, 6,000 euros or something, and they are still receiving monthly or weekly stipend to survive as a jobless musician. But here in India, we are trying our best to support registered musicians like our next generation musicians. So that is a very big challenge for right now. We are all working together. Many musicians I have started, myself as well. So supporting musicians is very important. Supporting students, because it is like a living in a farmhouse. You just cannot live in a condo. There is no condo in music.
Right. Uh, the last question. You are not accepting invitations to be present in reality show, or you don't like this quick success method that people become famous through a reality show? A little bit of embarrassing question.
Well, the real reality show is not in the windows or in the screen. Real reality show is my life or life like mine. By playing a 16 Hawaiian guitar, I have come after so many eras, and still I am holding my Bose headphone and an iPhone, and I am talking with none other than Soumyajit Mahapatro in a talk show after all the struggles from 20 rupees a tuition or 30 rupees a concert or 50 rupees a background live score till now Debashish Bhattacharya. That is actually the reality show. And I disagree entirely this concept of reality show because it actually takes away the reality from a young budding talent. It is very dangerous for young, really budding talent because they for some long period, they don't understand what is coming to their life is too long for these reality show episodes. You have to live at least 50, 60, 70 years and keep on doing. Then you have to change your professions from singer to a hotel owner or a boutique or a fashion designer or a yoga teacher. That is a Western concept. In Western concept, you can be anything. Every 3 years, you can change your entire life. But when there is a life, we keep on struggling or enjoying or suffering or developing, evolving for a long period of time. I don't see what reality show does to that life.
So thank you, Panditji, Pandit Debashish Bhattacharya, for coming to face show. It was a nice conversation. There are lot many things we could not cover, and people should have the hunger to listen to Pandit Debashish Bhattacharya in future shows. So with that, we remain thankful to Pandit Debashish Bhattacharya for coming over once again to this show. And I think that Pandit Debashish Bhattacharya could talk to us heart to heart. With that, good night to everybody. Signing off from Face to Face Show only. Thank you very much. Namaskar, Pandit.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Shambhuji, for bringing me to face, and my love and respect to all the face audience. Stay with us with Shambhuji's face, and long live face.
Namaskar, Soumyajit welcomes you to Face Soumyajit. If you like our show, please visit Face Soumyajit, like it and share it. Also, subscribe our YouTube channel iCommunications. Press the bell icon to get instant notifications.